My celebrity crush for the longest time has been Zac Efron. Ever since High School Musical, yes. I think he's so amazing. It's amazing to see how he's evolved from High School Musical to The Greatest Showman. He's not only just an amazing actor and got the looks, but he just seems like such a nice guy.
Okay. You see that video. It's a cute video, gushing over Zac Efron, because who doesn't? But what could possibly be wrong with that video? It features 16-year-old Instagram influencer Carrie Burke and her best friend. In fact, it got over 2 million views on YouTube. But along with that simple, fun video came relentless bullying and body shaming from total strangers who picked apart everything that you can imagine from Carrie. But she's channeling that pain and turning it into power and hoping to empower other children. Carrie joins us now with her mother, Cheryl. Thank you so much for joining us. I was looking at the audience watch the video. What could possibly be wrong with that video?
Yeah, I mean, going into the whole experience, obviously, I was so excited for the video to come out. It was so much fun doing that with my best friend. And the day it was released, I was shocked to find that there were tons and tons of hate comments.
Like what?
People were saying that I wasn't curvy enough, or
but you're sitting down. How could they even tell that?
Thick. When I stood up at the end and I met my bae, just calling me ugly, saying my best friend was prettier than me. All these horrible things that really knocked off my self-esteem and made me feel bad about myself.
Cheryl, as any mom, I mean, the mama kicks in.
Right.
You know, you see this and you hear your daughter reading these comments. How did it affect her? What were you seeing in her as she was reading these comments?
We were actually sitting together, I think, in a cab when you were reading the comments. It had just come out. And I saw her face and I saw how much it hurt. But frankly, I don't think either one of us was too surprised, given all of the comments that Carrie has endured over the years, really since she was 10 years old and the first time she's been on social media. So what I'm really proud of is the fact that, yes, she was hurt and she shook it off pretty quickly. And she's just, you know, somebody who really believes you take a negative and you turn it into a positive, and she's chooses to channel this into a way to inspire kids and empower them if they are going through similar things.
As her mom, though, I mean, listen, I'm 49 years old, and I remember my mom saying to me one day, it was some story about me, and my mother said, if you believe the good, they say, you have to believe the bad. So believe in yourself. And that was the advice that she gave me, because it does affect you. Were you ever tempted to tell her to stay off social media or not pursue this, that it's not worth it?
I think in the beginning when she was on social media, it was a discussion we had, but because it's something that has become so prevalent in our culture nowadays, it's part of how these kids communicate. I wouldn't tell her to get off of social media, but we do talk about if somebody says something mean, delete, block, ignore, don't engage.
Don't clap back.
Right.
That's why I struggle with this clap back culture, because I feel like, you know, as I jokingly say, Chrissy Teigen is the best at it, but it's not, I don't know what to make of the, okay, you say something nasty, now I clap back at you.
Right.
That's a part of the struggle as well, to defend yourself.
Yeah, and although that initial reaction may be to clap back and to get revenge, that's never the right answer. That's never the answer. When someone bullies you, exactly as my mom was saying, you delete and you block, and you just have to learn how to rise above it and stay confident in your own skin.
And you created, absolutely. You actually used this voice and teamed up with organizations and people who want to empower other kids. What are you doing?
Right. I'm actually an ambassador for No Bully. It's an amazing nonprofit organization, and they're going into schools across the country, teaching kids as early as possible to be kind to each other and to practice empathy.
Yeah, it's great. I have Dr. Rebecca Berry. She's up at our center stage. You know, Dr. Berry, I got to tell you, we talk about this over and over, and I remind people it's not just kids. I always say, we adults need to look at our Facebook pages, our Instagram, and what we're saying about people when a star pops up on television and what our kids hear us say about them. What's the curve correction here?
Well, I think that what we really want to emphasize to everybody is, of course, acceptance of all body shapes, sizes, makes, and models. I think, you know, especially for teens, it's important for individuals, for parents especially, to make sure that they are not commenting on their children's bodies, and that if they do make a comment about their own body, that it's about appreciation, right? To showing gratitude for the things that the body's able to do.
Well, that's interesting because I had a conversation with a friend the other day, and her daughter had started to pick up weight, and she struggled with saying something because she said, I don't want to think that I'm judging her. I just want her to eat a little healthier. Is it best just to stay away from the topic in general, whether it's a son or a daughter, just stay away from the weight?
Well, I think it's hard in everyday life to completely stay away, especially as a parent, when it's our job to actually, you know, move them in the directions that and guide them into healthy practices. I think it's a good idea to try and emphasize, you know, familial practices with regard to healthy eating, and make sure that really from an early age that you encourage balance with regard to eating and things like exercise as well.
And as it relates to also young men, I mean, I showed that James Corden thing, and James was talking about always struggling with his weight. I saw a picture of one of these, you know, male superstars, and someone said, look at his dad body. He's not hot dad anymore. He's got dad body, which I'm like, okay, it looked good to me in the picture. But young men are getting it as well. If they're not chiseled, you know, if they don't have the right height, they're getting it.
Young men absolutely do often feel a pressure to have a certain type of physique, and so they are equally affected by these types of comments as well.
Yeah, it is interesting, but I hope that we are making some progress, because I sometimes turn into Debbie Downer, and I worry that we're having the same advice, but is it resonating? It appears, though, from young people like you and the No Bullying campaign, something is working. You're standing up for yourself in the right way. Carrie, thank you. Cheryl, thank you as well. By the way, for more information on Carrie's anti-bullying, go to TamronHallShow.com to get more information and advice on how to talk to your own kids. And when we come back, you'll meet two friends who took $700 and turned it into millions. Their company, or they, have been listed as Forbes magazine's 30 under 30 list. No matter what age you are, what we can learn from them after the break.